Singaporeans and residents staying at home during the circuit breaker can expect internet connectivity to be enhanced and also more free content on TV and mobile channels. Geraldine Yap finds out more.
Till the circuit breaker ends on 4th May, people have been advised to stay at home. But with work and studies now going online, the government's working with telcos to upgrade internet infrastructure, with improvements to be expected soon.
Our objective is to see how we can do this as soon as possible to further enhance system capacity, network capacity, and we think that the significant enhancements can be achieved probably in the next 2 weeks or so. But this does involve further work at the back end and so on. But this is the area where the telcos are working closely with IMDA.
While demand for internet has increased by as high as 60% in a day, according to some service providers, telcos like Singtel say network quality hasn't been affected. And to give a further boost, they'll be ramping up connectivity in areas with higher traffic.
The traffic pattern have changed. It used to be in the business area, and now a lot more load is actually in the home residential area. We will have to put up more capacity at the radio stations in those sites that we are seeing heavier traffic. So that will entail our technicians going to the area, to the existing sites to add more capacity by inserting some hardware in those sites.
Beyond internet connectivity, Mediacorp, Singtel and StarHub will also offer more free content on their platforms. Mediacorp will be airing its Surya and Vasantham channels from 9 AM daily instead of from the afternoon. This means additional dramas, movies and current affairs shows on top of its existing content. Telcos, Singtel and StarHub will each increase their free preview channels to about 30 channels on TV and mobile. And it'll cover a wide range of genres, from news channels to children's content. Low-income families will also not be left out. Enhancements are being made to a government scheme so that low-income students can get a subsidised computer and free fibre broadband more quickly. The government's also working with industry players for donations of cash and IT products, which will go to supporting digital access for low-income households.
And for a closer look, we're joined by Communications and Information Minister S. Iswaran. Minister, thanks for joining us this evening. Can you give us a sense of how robust our current network capacity is, and by how much internet usage has actually increased, since the start of the outbreak?
Well, certainly I think with the COVID outbreak and increasing telecommuting and changes in lifestyles and habits, we have seen a shift, and there's a lot more demand on the residential front for broadband and connectivity capacity. And this is where I think when you look at what our experience has been with the network in general, our peak loads are in the evening, just when generally everybody is at home and using it. And I think IMDA has observed that there's been a slight increase in peak loads in the evening, but that is well within our network capacity. I think it's at about 70%. So we have a good 30% headroom. On top of that, what we have seen now is in the daytime, there are now more peaks, smaller peaks, because people have shifted to working from home. But at the same time, of course, the usage in the office areas has declined. And these daytime peaks are well within our capacity. So on the whole, I would say that our system today, our network, has the resilience and the capacity with sufficient headroom to accommodate these changes. But at the same time, we're also working with the telcos to invest in further enhancements to our network so that we are prepared with additional capacity should it arise.
So it seems like things are in hand to sort of mitigate the problems that people might face with sort of connections. There's more of us at home now, students as well as people working. Do you see that then these upgrades that you're mentioning will help to sort of keep us safe as demand continues to grow?
Well, I think there's a few things here. First is the user experience in the home itself is not just a function of network capacity, it is also about how we use the Wi-Fi capacity that we have in the home. So it depends on how many devices are connected, what kind of use you're putting to the devices. So for example, if somebody is watching Netflix and their child is trying to do home-based learning and somebody is trying to do a video conference call, I think when you put all of that together, it will then start to have some impact on the user experience. So we have to be smart in the way we use the Wi-Fi, optimize it, and we'll be putting out more tips. IMDA will be putting out handy tips on how people can get the most out of it. The other part is cybersecurity. Clearly, as we all rely more and more, especially in this environment, on digital connectivity, the cybersecurity element is key, and we should all be very alert to the challenge and the risk that's posed by cyber risks.
Well, IMDA also mentioned that capacity at potential high-traffic sites will also be progressively boosted. What are some examples of these sites?
Well, one specific example could be the foreign worker dormitories, because the dorms in general, the workers used to go out to work, they'd come back in the evenings, and the utilization of Wi-Fi and bandwidth and so on would have been fairly limited. But now, because of the change to circumstances and the fact that the workers now are largely confined to their accommodation in the foreign worker dormitories, it means now we need to ensure that there's sufficient bandwidth, Wi-Fi capacity and other sorts of mobile connectivity, so that they can, whether it is to communicate with their loved ones overseas or to also have some entertainment content and so on, we need to make sure that there is sufficient connectivity capacity for that. So we're working on this, IMDA with the telcos, working with the dorm operators. Generally, the dorms have got Wi-Fi infrastructure. There are some that don't. And I think the intent is over the next couple of weeks, we will build up the Wi-Fi capacity and also look at other means of bringing broader connectivity for the dormitories. That's one example of a high traffic area which has emerged because of these changed circumstances.
Well, businesses are under quite a bit of pressure now with the circuit breakers kicking in. What kind of help in terms of digital solutions do SMEs need now, and how are you hoping to sort of get that help to them?
Well, I think this whole COVID-19 experience has perhaps brought to the fore the reasons and the importance of having this digital capability, because the more we are impeded in having our the conventional physical connectivity, whether it is through travel overseas or face-to-face meetings, the more we now need to rely on digital connectivity to transact, to meet, to communicate, to pay, and so on. And this is where the entire SME Go Digital program that IMDA has been running now for several years has taken on added significance. And there are three elements to this, because we've got one component called Go Digital, which is for the startups. Then there is the Grow Digital, which is really around the internationalization piece. I'm sorry, so the Start Digital is for startups, the Go Digital is for the sort of growth SMEs, and the Grow Digital is for those that are going overseas. So these have been some important initiatives, and they're gathering momentum. I think we have a good 20-odd thousand at least who have signed up. In particular, I think they're interested in areas like how do you achieve online marketing and also cross-border payment solutions, or even domestic payment solutions that can be on the online platform. So these are some examples. But ultimately, I think for our SMEs today and all businesses in general, it is not just about business and the opportunities, but it's also about the costs and containing costs, and which is why the government has come up with a slew of measures, including those to significantly defray the cost of the salary costs of their employees.
Well, thank you very much, Minister, for taking the time to speak to us this evening. We've been speaking with Communications and Information Minister S. Iswaran.